So we have with us GM Vidit Gujarathi. Vidit, what are you going to show us today on this video? Which game of yours?
I would like to show my recent game from Tata Steel Challengers, which I played in last month. It was a good tournament for me. I scored 5 wins, 8 draws, and I didn't lose any games. And I won the tournament by 1 point. So overall, I think my play was quite decent. So I'll show a game from there. I played this in the 8th round against Gordievsky. He's a Russian GM. He's quite strong, 26-20. And he won the Moscow Open in 2017, so he's quite a good player. And before this round I was trailing the leader by 1 point, so it was like kind of I need to win kind of situation. But okay, he played c4. He generally likes to play all English type of positions. I played e5. It was funny, before the game I checked all the lines except this, so it shows like no matter how much you prepare, you can't be like 100% ready for any game. He played g3, knight f6, bishop c2. Okay, this is all standard theory. d5, knight f3, knight c6, castle. And now I played knight b6. It looks strange, but it has a point. Like there is another line where black plays bishop e7 and then white plays d4. That's why he has delayed the development of this knight. And e4, knight e5, and then okay, f5, this takes on c6. Okay, this is also a playable position, but I was not in the mood to play this line. So I play knight b6, which stops white's d4. And now okay, he can play knight c3 and transpose to the main lines. But he played d3, bishop e7, now a3. He's not developing this knight, so it definitely means that he wants to place it on d2 or keep the flexibility options. I could have played a5, but as the knight is not yet on d2, I didn't want to give him this b5 square just in case in future. So I played castle. And now if he played b4, there was an interesting line, bishop f6. This was the point. Like if he plays bishop b2, I play e4. And now if he takes on f6, queen f6, knight and rook both are hanging. So he played knight d2. Now he is preparing b4, so I have to play a5, b3, bishop e6, all developing normal moves. Bishop b2, f6. This line there are few games in this line, but it has never been really popular.
It's very much like the hedgehog, but
yes,
with the pawn on c7. So
yeah, hedgehog, and also I mean the bishop is here, not on e2. That's one difference. Queen c2, queen d7. Now he played really strange. I feel like he should put the rooks on d1, c1 and try to play e3 and go into hedgehog positions. He played knight c4. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what the knight is doing on c4 here. I played rook d8, just getting ready for action in the center. And he played rook fc1. Okay, I didn't understand what he wants to do here. I played queen e8. I thought that the queen is not so useful here, so I'll place it on f7. Or in future, if he tries to remove the rook, I can play it on f8 and attack the a3 pawn. Now I was completely shocked by his next move. He took on b6.
why were you shocked?
Because I mean, for example, I'm not even threatening to take on c4, and I have no threat. So why not to maintain the tension? And
why are you not threatening to take on c4?
Well, if I take on c4, he'll take with the b pawn, and then his structure has improved. He has the b file for the rook, and I have not achieved anything with this. Only he gains. Okay, he blocked the c file, but I don't know if I can make good use of it. I mean, now he should have played maybe this knight fd2, slowly improve the position, because this, after taking on b6, now I have open c file, and suddenly queen f7, attacking b3. So it's very easy to see that his weaknesses are very apparent now. But I think he thought that in English structures usually the pawns can become weak. So he was still hoping to exploit this. He played a4. He wants to stop b5 stuff. No, wait, sorry.
B4
no, I think he played knight d2. I'm sorry. He played knight d2 first. Now this is threatened, so I played rook c8, a4. I don't know which move order it was, first a4 or this, but okay. Anyway, it was 4 still here. Now I could play knight d4. It looks like tempting to attack the queen, but after queen d1, he will take on d4, and then he'll have very good control of the light squares. So the move looks good, but doesn't achieve anything. And now basically white's plan is to put the knight on c4. Maybe exchange this bishop, because I'll put my bishop here to protect the pawn, and then slowly try to gang up on the b6 pawn. That's his only plan. But although it's simple, but it's not easy to achieve, because I have my own counterplay on the king side, and all my pieces have good squares, like they are not weak. So I think already black is slightly better. Here I played bishop c5, protecting this in advance, and if he plays knight e4 attacking this, I could just play bishop d4, and the knight is misplaced here. Bishop c5, he played queen d1, and now as I said, I was behind by 1 point, and I thought he's playing a bit passively, so why not to exploit this. Initially I wanted to play something on the king side, because all his pieces are on queen side, so it makes sense, but it was not easy. For example, I wanted to play bishop g4 and queen h5, something like this, but then he simply plays rook c4 attacking the bishop, and if I play f5, let's say, to protect it, he can even sacrifice on g4.
Wow.
Fg4 and bishop e4. It looks like an exchange, like okay, white is material down, but his play is now very easy. He'll play e3. My bishop is blocked, my knight doesn't have any good prospects, this pawn is weak, and he has excellent squares. I cannot kick the bishop out of e4, knight on c4. So
such positional sacrifices are very natural for a player like you, or you have to think a bit about it?
I think all the players who have seen a lot of games, they recognize this very quickly. I think that is the difference. I mean, if you give this position to anybody, I think who has good positional sense, he will not pick black. I could play queen h5 first, but then again bishop f3 would attack the queen. So I didn't know what to do, and then I thought, okay, I should bring more pieces into the attack, and I didn't know how to do it. So I thought, okay, if not pieces, I'll bring pawn. I played h5, and it was very inspired decision. I don't know if it's correct or not correct, but now I'm threatening to play h4.
Is it like an un-Vidit like decision? Yeah, you play quite for the needs of the position.
But maybe I think the position demanded
h5
something. I mean, some active play, because if I just wait slowly, he'll improve his position. I think his pieces are not coordinated, so it was very important to strike when there is no harmony in his position.
So what are you planning to achieve with the move h5, because it's not so easy to coordinate an attack?
First of all, now I'll play h4 next move, and then after taking on g3, I'll have an open h file for future. For example, I can put queen on h5, king f7, rook h8. Okay, but this is like just, I mean, unrealistic, but it's a threat and it's annoying. Also, I can, after h4, I can just leave it there. Sometimes it's useful to play h3, and I also have cheap ideas like queen g6 takes and some queen g3 stuff.
Right.
Because it's pinned. It weakens my king side, but I think when you're pawn down and you have made 3 draws in the previous rounds, you don't care about weak king. So after h5, I remember he was very surprised by this move. He played knight c4. Now I think I didn't play in the spirit of the position. I should have continued my play with h4, but I didn't want to allow bishop a3. And now if I take, he'll take with the rook, and then suddenly the b6 pawn is slightly weak. But I think if I take and play queen h5, next move knight d4, I'll not go too deep into variations, but I think black has very good initiative. For example, takes, knight b6, I can even play knight d4, and bishop g4, e2 is weak. There are a lot of checks, and for example knight c8, knight e2, king f1, bishop g4, threatening knight g3, this, and rook is attacked. So suddenly his king is weak, and I even have some ideas like queen h2 and queen g1 mate. So here the old Vidit came back, and I played according to the safe Vidit, and I played queen e7. Prophylactic, yeah, to stop bishop a3. But I think once you play h5, you cannot really do this, and it's like wanting to have everything, in life, and it's not always possible to get everything in life. So
It's like playing a tandem simul where one player goes and plays h5 and next move is played by some other player.
Good connection there, yeah. So I think this is a mistake, because now it gives him some time. He played e3. Now if I play h5, his queen will come to h4. If I play h4, his queen will come to h5, bishop e4. Doesn't make any sense. So I played bishop g4.
One more question is, isn't bishop a3 still possible, or it just loses some material?
Yeah, bishop a3 is definitely possible. Takes. But now if he takes with the rook, I'll take the knight and the rook is hanging. And if he takes with the knight, I have ideas like knight d4, where this is weakness, and then I can even play queen b4, stuff like this. What he played is, I think, very logical. e3, bishop g4, attacking the queen, queen f1. Now okay, the drawback of e3 was that this pawn is now weak, so I immediately went for it. And now I remember I was sitting calculating why he's playing like this. After knight b4, it's not easy to defend the pawn. If he plays bishop e4, I have f5, and I thought rook c3 is so ugly. I mean, if you have to defend like this, I didn't know what he wanted to do. And when I played this, he immediately banged out rook d1. He got up from his chair and started walking, and he was very excited. And after the game, he told me that he thought that white is already better now. That is a very ambitious statement, but it is true that white's play is easier. I don't think white is better at all, but his play is now easier. And if I don't take on d1, it doesn't make sense what I'm doing. So I took rook d1. Okay, now it's okay. I have to evaluate the position. Always when there are like major changes in the board, it's important to step back and have a fresh look, because things are not the same, because now my previous plans no longer work, so I have to re-evaluate the position. Okay, now d4 is a possibility, so I played queen f7, and now my light squares were weak here, so I thought, okay, with queen f7 I at least cover some of them, have this exit for the bishop.
So this is a very good exchange sacrifice by your opponent.
Yeah, I think practically it's very good. I think also objectively it might be the best move in the position, but his evaluation was wrong. His evaluation that white is better is wrong. I think objectively it's still balanced. After queen f7, he played king h1. He wanted to play for f4. Now it was funny, like we both thought that white's main plan should be f4, and he was preparing f4 and I was stopping f4, but which is the wrong plan. So we are preparing and stopping the wrong plan. And I think in this position he has to play more on the light squares rather than opening this up. King f1. Now I thought I'll use some tactical motives to stop f4. h4. I think I'm not sure about this move. because it gives him some light squares. But in this position, g4 was not possible, which is ideal, you know, like he can put the bishop here, control so many light squares, and I can't really do anything about it. But here g4 fails to queen g6, attacking d3 and g4, and he can't defend both of them. And if he takes on h4, I have queen h5. Suddenly I'll take on h4, king f7, rook h8, some ideas like that are possible. So I thought after h4 I'm fine, and you know, he also got a bit worried. But after 10 minutes he played a good move. Simple but good move, queen e2. I realized that I don't really achieve anything by exchanging the pawn. I instead actually weakened my king. And I got a bit worried here. I already thought that I really misplayed, you know, and my position is not so easy anymore. I thought for like 10 or 15 minutes because this was very critical position. I can play rook c7, rook d7, you know, but it was better with the pawn on h5. Now if I play this, he'll play rook bishop e4, rook d7, g4, and I don't know what to do next. I have two rooks, but everything is defended. I can't really improve the position. And now this was very important moment of the game. I played hg, he played fg3. I think it's good move. During the game I thought he should take with the h pawn, but this gives him more counterplay with ideas like rook f1, taking on e5, the pin, you know. Now here he was also playing very fast. He thought that now okay, he's clearly better, but I had one trick still left in the position. Basically White's plan is to play bishop e4 now, queen g4, stuff like this, or bishop e4 and g4 to gain some squares, and even, you know, play g5, g6. I played bishop f8. The simple idea is like, first if he plays bishop e4, I'll play g6 and put the bishop here. At least I have now more defensive pieces around my king. And the other idea was not so apparent of bishop f8. So he played g4 first, thinking that if I play g6, now he'll have g5. So he wanted to just change the move order. But this is wrong, because this has a drawback of not defending this pawn. And I played b5. This he missed. It was very important to act energetic, you know, because if he gets all his plan, I have no counterplay. And now I like this move a lot. It just shows that, you know, all my pieces were well placed, and I'm ready to even create my own play. And it's ironic that the best way to stop his kingside attack is to start my own queenside attack. So he took on b5 forced, then I play a4, because this knight is, you know, the thing which is holding the queenside together. a4. Now if he takes on a4, I can just take on d3, and if rook d3, I'll play queen c4, and this pin stops him from creating anything.
This b5 move changed the complexion of the position completely.
Completely. He was shocked because he didn't. I saw his eyes opening up after b5. He played bishop e4, and he was playing fast now because he was low on time as well. Bishop e4. I took on b3 because now it's, you know, defended, and g5. I remember it looked very dangerous over the board because you don't know the evaluation, what it's saying. Are your calculations all correct?
g6, queen h5 coming up.
Yeah, it's mating attack, and I'm known not to be good with mates. So after g5, I took on d3. Okay, I have to go for it because g6 is coming. Now if he plays g6, I'll play queen c4. He's just one move short. If he plays queen h5, I can play knight f2 check.
Maybe queen e4 first also.
Yeah, also, yeah, sorry, queen e4, king g1 and queen e3. This is what I saw. And now I have queen h6. stopping that mate. So the primitive way doesn't work, and he played bishop d3. He should have played bishop d3, but it's not easy to give this bishop when you think that
Yeah, but bishop d3. What was your threat? Like what would you play now?
well, I have to play rook d3. I cannot keep this bishop. It's the main piece which holds this position. Now queen d3, let's say, and queen c4. I have an extra pawn on b3, and I'm a pawn up, and I have very good chances. But he can take rook d3, try to create some counterplay. But I think black is still much better. But this was the most tenacious thing, and that's the thing about strong players. Even in worse positions, they'll find the best defense. But I think he got carried away here by the attack, to the prospects of attack. So knight d3, he played rook d3, and this looks scary because initially I thought that okay, I might have blundered something. Queen c4, and now there was one thing which I needed to see, which was very important. Bishop h7 check, king h7, queen h5, king g8, g6, and now it looks like okay, there is just mate here, and I don't have, queen e4, king g1. Now I cannot take on e3 and come back to h6. But here he has just given away too many pieces, and I can play bishop e7. The point is queen h7, king f8, queen h8. My queen comes back. It acts as a defensive piece also. And when he started to think, I realized that he had missed this, and he confirmed it after the game that he missed that my queen can just come back.
This was not like the most brilliant combination or something, but a very difficult calculation because you are under pressure of the attack and you're defending. So how do you maintain your cool to calculate such variations?
I think it comes from experience first. Like, I've lost many positions like this, so I sense that this is the critical moment of the game. And when you see a lot of games, when you work on your own games where you have missed some things like this, you develop the feeling of such positions. It doesn't come like automatic. I think you have to get it by looking at many games. For example, Kasparov's games, Topalov, Shirov, such attacking games. Then you develop the sense of initiative. And because few moves ago itself, it was apparent that his initiative can be very dangerous here. So it was important to act fast. I think this feeling you only develop after working on chess and looking at more games and stuff like this. Now after queen c4, if he plays queen h5, just e4 is hanging. So he played bishop d4. The point is, like, if I play ed4, he wants to play queen h5 and some threats. But now the hero
bishop
of the
on f8, yeah.
Sorry.
Bishop is on f8.
Yeah, bishop is on f8. Sorry, and there is this mate.
Right.
But now the hero of the game, the a pawn, shows itself. I played b2, and now he's just too many pieces down to do anything. Like queen h5, I'll queen, king g2, queen c2 check. Okay, and now if he moves the king, my other queen will come. So it's just a tempo shot. And yeah, he resigned after b2 as there's no way to increase the attack, and this queen he can't stop.
When we go through this game very quickly, it seems like a pretty one-sided struggle, sort of. You overpowered him, but when you are explaining, there's so many subtle points to learn from.
Yes, like for example, to push h4, which looks good, but after that my position is actually very critical. And queen e7, which looks like a good prophylactic move, it's actually not in the spirit of the position. And his play, like exchange sacrifice, it is good, but then he evaluated wrongly. So there are many small things, and that's the beauty of the game. Like, there are so many different views. Like after rook d1, I thought that black should be better. He thought that white is completely better, and the correct evaluation was it's dynamically balanced. So it's very interesting to see that it's like clash of your personality and your views. That's what makes the game so interesting.
You won this game, but still you went ahead and tried to look at the objectivity, what was happening in the position. Can you tell something about that? Is that an attitude you developed over a period of time?
Well, I think it's important because to get detached from the result and look at it as if you're analyzing someone else's game, then it helps to, because when you look at your own game you have a bias towards it. You always like to, it always feels good, like if you played a good game and then you see that, oh, computer points, so this is wrong, but that is wrong. And it's important to draw a line, like, of course, you can't play every move or every game perfectly, so you will make mistakes, and I think we just have to accept it and check the games without having your own biases. I think that's very important. I think in all top players games you will see that they are very critical about their own mistakes, beat any top player. Okay, some people like to praise their games in publications and stuff like this, but I'm sure when I speak to them after the game and stuff, they are very critical that this was really a bad move and stuff like this. So yeah, I think it's important to, otherwise if you don't identify your own mistakes, how will you improve? You have to work on them, so it's important to be objective in this case.
One question that normally people ask is how many hours to analyze one's own game and how to do it. So with this game as an example, can you enlighten us on that?
I first of all analyzed this game after playing it with my opponent. Maybe not on board like all games, but we discussed all the critical positions and stuff like that. So that is, I think, a very good habit to develop, to always analyze the game immediately, because the ideas are fresh in your mind. You can write down your thoughts, because sometimes after the tournament you don't remember exactly what you were thinking, so it makes sense to just write down your thoughts, what you were going through, and then it helps to have someone to look at the game with. It makes it more fun, so, and you also get an extra perspective. But I think nowadays it's of course possible to analyze with engine, and it shows how bad a player you are. But yeah, but it really is, I think you should check the games with engine, but after analyzing it with your opponent, not necessarily on board alone, because I know it's easy to say to analyze the game on the board, but it's not very practically possible to do it alone. If you have someone with you analyzing, then it makes sense, because you're interacting, and then there's some opponent, that's important. So yeah, if you don't have a sparring partner, you can check the games with opponent or some friend.
Thank you so much, Vidit, for this nice wonderful masterclass.
You're welcome.